What is up, our B fam here, ready to get some exciting things going for Valentine's for you guys. I feel like we've been just taking ourselves a little too serious here at Enjoying Your Blended Family lately. It's been very necessary, some good conversations that we've been having on the podcast. So many of y'all reaching out. Excited and grateful that we have tackled some of these hard topics that we have to deal with in our step families. But I wanted to do something a little bit different and invite back one of my Instagram besties that we actually became friends just because of Instagram. And her name is Jamie. It used to be Date Crates. We've done lots of reviews over her products. She does a fabulous job of taking like your ordinary date idea and making it very intentional and intimate. And so I love that about her. And now it's kind of did a little shift with her family and her new baby, and it's called Make It a Date. And she's still sharing with you ideas how you can take your regular, ordinary days, dates, doesn't have to be nighttime, all of that stuff, and make it into an intentional moment with your spouse. And so in just a moment, she is going to share with us 14 different ways to connect for Valentine's. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
When we first became a step family, just like you, we didn't quite know what we were getting into.
Scarlett and Randall Tandy here from Enjoying Your Blended Family, and we have been a blended family for over 15 years. And not only did we have to figure out how to handle the day-to-day struggles that come with being in a step family, about 7 years in, our biggest fear happened and each of our kids went to go live with their other parent.
We went through seasons of zero connection with each one of our kids, and we had to get really creative on ways to reestablish and reconnect those relationships.
And through prayer and becoming very intentional, God restored our family in true God-like fashion and made it better than we could have ever imagined or hoped for.
So God has called us to help other families do the same thing, to make those connections. So if you're looking for stronger relationships, deeper connections, and more communication, then we believe it truly starts with being intentional and creating these fun opportunities in our family.
Click the link so that you can get quick access to the process that we use to help you find common interests in your family so that you can be more intentional on spending time with your kids, your spouse, and your family as a whole.
We believe you can take the step out of step family and create a blended family that you truly enjoy.
You can find our podcast on Enjoying Your Blended Family on YouTube or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And while you're sitting there, go ahead and follow us on social media.
So when you have more fun, you'll see less problems.
So we're back, and I have Jamie here. So Jamie, will you go ahead and just give our blended family community just a little recap if they have not met you before or seen what you did? Tell us a little bit about your family. You're not necessarily, your immediate family is not a blended family, but you come from a blended family, which has really propelled you into what you do now. So will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been married for 12 years. So yes, I was thinking almost 13. I've been married for 12 years. And yes, just like you said, I come from a blended family. My parents divorced about 5-6 years ago, and it really propelled me into this and made me stop and pause, think about my own marriage, and kind of get real about where it was at and where it needed to go if I wanted to make it stronger. And then date crates happened. And now we've kind of evolved it into Make It a Date. And reason being is for this topic we're going to talk about today is connecting. I recently did a poll on my Instagram asking couples like what is something they really needed. And the majority of them said, how do I connect with my spouse? Which kind of led to how do I date my spouse again? And that's really my passion for Make It a Date, is helping couples date each other. After you say I do, after you think dating, quote unquote, should be over, it's just not true. I want to help couples strengthen their marriage through dates. And I just love sharing ideas, things you can do, and make it simple and not overcomplicate it. So it's kind of me.
Yeah, and you do such a great job. I love just watching all the different reels, the different things. For one, because you are real about it. Like you share that it is hard. You
Yeah.
may, this is, what you're doing, helping other couples connect, and you're realizing like it's still hard for you and it's your focus, right? That's the same for us. Our goal is to help people enjoy their blended family, and we have to step back all the time and be like, what are we doing here? And I know for like you have a new baby in the house, us, we have a new grandbaby, which shifted into us watching her a lot. And it's crazy how fast one night of, okay, well, we'll just put our date off till tomorrow, or we'll
Oh
put
yeah.
our alone time off until tomorrow. And then it's like, oh gosh, it's been 3 days, or man, has it been a week or 2 weeks? So like it really just builds up so quickly to where we're like, okay, well, we're gonna make, once a week that we're gonna do this. And then it comes and it goes and we don't do it. And we fail so often. Randall and I just had this serious conversation a couple of days ago because our house has been full. And it's like, we've got to at least go to our bedroom at 9 o'clock so that we can connect and have
Have your
some.
own time together. Yes.
Yeah, and we have
Yeah.
grown adult kids, but it's a season that we're in right now, right? And
Yes.
I think that's what we have to do in every single season. And that's why I think for so many people that don't think about it, that a month turns into a year, into 3 years, and all of a sudden they're like, I'm not happy anymore.
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
even in love with you. And I love your new tagline on Instagram. It's like, you do love each other.
Yes.
Yes.
You do. And date nights help you remember why.
Yes.
Because I'm in that same boat. It's so easy for love to get put on autopilot when you have so much going on in life. New babies, new grandbabies, new anything. Like it just shifts all the time and you're always changing into, adapting to your new environment. And it's just easy to just flip love on autopilot, and then it just gets harder to bring it back to the focus. And that's why I love doing what I do. So you can remember why your marriage is great and why you guys are so good together.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into it because you're going to share with us 14 ways to connect for Valentine's. And love it. Got the 14, stick with the Valentine's date. And so if you'll just go through and kind of share with us the different ideas and a little bit of detail on what that looks like, and I'll ask questions as need be. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yes. Please ask questions because I have 14. I know that number seems like a lot, but I hopefully we'll just get little snippets as we go and make it adaptable for you and that people can relate to these. And I wrote these down thinking about things that have really helped my husband and I connect when we feel disconnected. And I wrote some ideas that we want to do better at. So just so you guys know, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm trying to be the best that I can and make my marriage the best that it can be. So 14 ways to connect with your spouse. And these are so simple. The number one is 7-second goodbye. I love this one because it's so easy to just kind of get like a quick peck and be like, hey, have a good day, see you later, and just disperse. But if you can make your goodbyes and or your returns more intentional and stay there for 7 seconds. Like, do you remember that game, 7 Seconds in Heaven? Like 7 minutes, I guess. 7 minutes in heaven. But this is now 7 seconds. So you can just sit there and connect with your spouse, hug it out, kiss, whatever you need to do, and then go do your thing. It's just something simple you can do, and it makes your day a little bit better.
Yeah, I talked about this when on another podcast, that I had this realization a while back that not on the goodbyes, but on the hellos when Randall was returning, for some reason I would find myself like trying to act preoccupied in the kitchen, like I was busy when he was coming in, like, oh, I didn't even notice you,
Oh,
And
you're
then-
here.
yeah. And then I saw this Instagram reel about like being very intentional with them coming through the door and greeting them. And I was like, why don't I do that? And then it's like, there was the lady I was talking with, and she started telling me like, well, are you a people pleaser? Did you have this kind of stuff happen in your childhood? And it's like, oh, it's like, I felt like I had to be producing or doing something when he walked in the door to be validated that I'm a good wife, And I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
wow, that's so crazy. I would have never even thought of that. So being more intentional, I
sure.
walk him to the door when he's leaving. I at least try to, anyways, even if I'm
Yeah.
busy in the kitchen, walk him to the door, open the door for him. But I like that, having that 7 seconds, like letting that kiss or that hug linger there, especially for physical
linger.
touch for your
For
spouse.
sure.
That's physical
I
touch.
can't believe how not touchy you can be with your spouse when you're like in marriage for a while, like you and I have been. Like it just kind of goes away.
Mhm.
So to bring that back and be more intentional. And I love your personal story, because same with me. I grew up with parents who were roommates as a couple, and I rarely saw my parents greet each other. So same with you. On the return, it was way harder for me to make it intentional. And so I've been trying to be better at catching myself, like, okay, put this down for a minute, just go over and say hi. So
Yeah.
he loves it. He loves being seen, which I feel like we all love being seen and welcomed into your home.
Yeah. Good one.
Okay, next. This one is for your couples like my husband and I, who are opposite in late night owls and morning people. I am a morning person. Cameron is very much a late night person. And so we don't really get that go to bed at the same time and connect there. So we've had to adjust this one a bit for us. And my tip for you guys here is to either, number one, have like 15 minutes before you each wake up to just snuggle in bed, or just have something where you're just talking to each other for a minute before you get on your phone, before you get out of bed, or even have coffee together. Like make it a time where you can. What I like to do, and what Cameron and I like to do, is I go to bed early because I am not a night owl, and he is. But I'll ask him, "Can you please just come lay by me for a little bit before you continue on doing your night stuff?" And he will. So he'll just come and lay by me again for like 15, 20 minutes. And I just go to sleep, and then he continues to watch his show or whatever he wants to do for the night. And it's, again, another intentional, conscious effort to just be together for those 10 or 15 minutes throughout your day. That's what I do for that.
And another good one, and that I feel like maybe we're living the same life, which I've always told you that. That's a conversation we just had as well, like when we lay down, because we had this huge king size bed that we got last year, and we're not cuddlers, neither one of us are, but we had just had that conversation, like maybe we just, every other night or something, we just come and we just like cuddle before we fall asleep. And it's these things that you don't think about until so much time passes, and you're like, dang, I do want that. Like it's not natural, but to get into the habit of doing that. So.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It is not natural, but that's why it's conscious effort, right? That's what I definitely have had to work on, the same things. So, thank you for that. My next one is naming specific reasons why you are thankful for each other. Again, it gets easy to just say, "Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you." Sometimes state why, and show appreciation for your spouse. It actually goes a long way, longer than you think it does. Like even when your husband does things that you quote unquote think they should already do, just go ahead and say, "Hey, thank you so much for taking out the trash. That made it so much easier for me to clean up dinner." And then that's, it just makes, I don't know, just propels positivity into your interactions with each other. And it kind of helps you get in the habit of noticing those little things. And typically your spouse will do that back to you and make compliments back. So
yes, or at least do the occurrence again.
exactly.
If you make them feel appreciated for that, whatever it is, it makes them, oh, let me do more of this.
Yeah, for sure. So there's that one too. Another thing that I like to do, Cameron's not a big fan of doing this for me, but I love leaving notes. around the house for him. I've left him in his lunchbox before. I've gotten sticky notes and put them all over our bathroom mirror. And same thing, you can do like inside jokes. I love you because, or I'm thinking of you. Thank you for all your hard work. Just little things that they can find to surprise him. So I've even asked him on a date with a sticky note on, and I've left the note in his truck for him to find. And he actually had to like circle yes or no if he wanted to go on a date with me. So that was fun.
I copied you on that one, and I put a note in it. After you had done that, I was like, I'm copying her, and I did it as well. And
it was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
And they do appreciate it, even if it's not like they're necessarily their way. But I do find that Randall leaves more sticky notes, not as often, but when he does, it means so much more. And I see the kids do it as well. Like it's something that just gets picked up on because they witness us do it.
Absolutely. And it's just like a nice surprise. Like it seems silly, but it does make you smile. And that's one of your, for me, it's one of my goals in my marriage is to help my husband smile today. And so I love leaving notes to do that. The next one, I think we're on number 5.
Yes.
Is to be curious. And I say that because I noticed this a while ago when we were with a group of people, and Cameron was talking about like his job, which is a topic that you typically over talk about in your relationship. However, it also kind of skips through, like it just becomes so easy to be like, oh yeah, this is what happened today, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you're in a group of people, he almost became more specific in the things that were happening at work, to where I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. And then I kind of realized, but I never asked him questions about it. So I just stay curious, like ask questions you would ask like when you were dating. Like, do you like your job right now? Like what's going on in your job right now? And if you do know what's going on, ask a follow-up question like, hey, whatever happened with that? And this can go through anything, not just careers, but did you read a book this week, or did you have a quote that you saw this week or something you want to share with me? So yeah, just stay a little bit curious instead of assumptuous, because that's kind of what gets you into trouble when you just assume your spouse, which I know we all know our spouses really well when you've been married for a while, but to keep the curiosity in your conversation actually brings better conversation for you guys to have, and a deeper one too.
Yeah, that is, I think, the thing I love about what you do the most, because your connection cards are the thing that Randall and I will go back and forth in the dates and ask those questions, and we will learn things that we had no idea. And it's been, I think this is going on 16 years that we've been married, and we're still, over the last couple of years that we've used your connection cards, we have found out so much. And I will purchase your cards and give them out like as gifts to my like Bible study ladies and stuff, as something like, a cute little something to add. And when we were just a while back talking about like gift giving and special like qualities that we each had at a retreat we had, and they were like, well, we just love how thoughtful you are in your gift giving, because you always give us those little connection cards and stuff. And I'm like, you're over here making a difference in families that you don't even know that you don't. It's just gets these conversations out that we wouldn't have otherwise, things that we think we already know everything, because sometimes our conversation can be very boring because it is the same thing. Oh, hey, how was work? It was good. Or it sucked, or oh, I'm just tired. Okay, let's turn the TV on. And so this gets you outside of that, asking things that you would not know before.
Or not typically think to ask, or you did way back at the beginning, but it just becomes comfortable, right? It just becomes comfortable. So to kind of bring different questions in, it just makes it a little bit more meaningful for later. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That just like warmed my little heart. I love that. Okay, number 6. This is something that's super easy you can do, and I feel like it brings connection instantly, and that's going through old photos. If you're just sitting on the couch and you're watching your same show, you keep watching, I challenge you guys, just turn it off and just kind of get your old wedding photo album out, or family pictures, or even just scrolling through your phone photo albums, and you'll be surprised at how long you can sit there and say, oh my gosh, do you remember this? Do you remember this time? And sharing your memories of those times way back when. And it kind of just, I don't know, I love reminiscing. It's so much fun for me. And it does kind of bring that connection of like, oh man, we've had a really good life. We've had hard times, but look at us. Like we are here, we've made it through. And I'm just so thankful to have you in my life. And it's just great.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were saying they do that at the New Year's time or whatever,
Yeah.
with the whole family.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a date or with the whole family, but they project it on from their phone, how you can project it onto your TV if you have a smart TV, and have the pictures rotating on there. And they were saying, he was saying how meaningful it was, as they would just start laughing about certain things that took place and the stories attached to those pictures. And so, yeah, I love that idea too.
Good. I love that too, because it does just bring, memories you want to talk about again. That's so fun. So fun for everyone. Okay. I think, Scarlett, you and I can relate a lot to number 7. It's initiating sex. Okay. And I think you posted the other day about how he's waiting for you to be in the mood and you're waiting to be wanted.
Yeah.
Does that seem about right? Because
yes.
Exactly.
We're both people pleasers, so we're all sitting back waiting.
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly my husband and I too. And so when you're thinking about it, because like you guys are just both waiting, right? So one of you just make the move. If it has to be you, just do it. It just leads to so much connection. And even when it's, not your typical move, maybe it'll be surprising, and then it will just build into something great. So have some fun with initiation and foreplay. That's always a good thing to do in your marriage anyway. But
yeah, take number 7, circle it, highlight it. Your spouse will. Thank you for that.
Yes. So that one probably doesn't need any more explanation, but initiation. Okay. 8 is celebrate successes. Even your small ones. Do something to celebrate each other. I just read this in an article where a couple, their anniversary date is the 5th of November or something, but they choose to do something on the 5th of every month just to celebrate them, each other. And I really thought that was a cute idea. That
you're in middle school again.
Yeah.
You're dating for 2 months, for 3 months.
Yeah. Let's do something. It doesn't have to be huge. You can go get cookies. You can go for a walk. Do something to celebrate those things. Like even your parenting wins, man. Sometimes parenting, even grandparenting, probably can get so daunting where it's like, you know what? I actually had a really good day today. Can we celebrate just the good day that we had and just sit and talk about it or whatever? So just make it fun and celebrate each other.
Yeah, I like that. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. A big to-do costs a lot of money. It's just taking time out of your day to acknowledge that something good happened.
Yeah. I really like that. That's a good way to put it. Okay, 9 is start nice. Okay, this one's probably going to be a little tricky just because it kind of takes a little bit self-awareness. And this is something I wrote down for me, because sometimes when I would start conversations with my husband, I would start with my guard up. And if you can catch yourself and start nice, it will change your interaction and it'll change their response to you too. And I know it's been helpful in my marriage, for example, with date nights. Typically, when I'm frustrated, I will just come into the conversation like, why don't you take me out on date night anymore? Like, why don't we ever go out? And it's already defensive. But when I catch myself and I come into it with a nicer approach, like, hey, I've really been missing you. Can we schedule a time where we can go do something together? I've just really appreciate time together. So different. Our conversations are so different. And a quote I heard from someone else, she said, you didn't marry a jerk. And I think sometimes we kind of treat each other like, not as jerks, but like brother and sister sometimes, where it's like, oh, why don't we ever do this? We need to do better at this. But if you can kind of start nice, it'll change your interactions and bring, again, more positivity into your marriage.
Randall says that because he's in a house full of women mostly, because we only have the one son. Y'all's is the opposite, right? And
Yes.
he's always like, man, y'all make me sound like such a jerk. Because we're all so sensitive.
Yes. But it's hard to, I guess, recognize the reason why you're upset or why you're sad or why you're mad, but when you can open up with your spouse and have that safety, that safe feeling to do that, it will change your dynamics of your marriage when you can open up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Really say those things. Yeah. So start nice if you can. Number 10, kind of follow along with it, is responding to your partner. And this is probably another reminder for myself and you, if we're both kind of preoccupied with our stuff and they're talking to us and we're just continuing like wiping the counters down and doing stuff. For me, if I can stop and face my husband and really look at him and respond to what he's saying, I think it helps him feel important and know that I'm listening to him, and that seems so simple, but I think it's just a great reminder for all of us to respond. And I thought of 3 T's to help you. So talk, touch, and thought, being thoughtful. So if your spouse is talking to you, talk back to them, touch them, grab their hand, grab their shoulder, give them a hug, whatever is necessary, in that moment, and be thoughtful. Ask a question and be, in the moment with them instead of just rushing to the next one. So seems simple, but
yeah, there's a couple of things on that. One, I think us as moms can be on autopilot because our kids say so much stuff all
day.
the time that we're like, cool. And they're like, I just told you blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's something not cool, right?
Yes.
And so we can kind of carry that on to our spouse. Randall will tell me, like, never mind, I'm not going to talk to you right now. Like if I have like my phone up or whatever, so I have to be like very intentional. I just put my phone down upside down because I don't even want to see the notifications pop up. I just spent a whole year with my phone on do not disturb from like these certain hours, trying to get better about not getting notifications.
Yeah.
But another thing that is a huge distraction that he hates is when we're in a conversation and my watch buzzes for one reason or another, and I just stop mid like listening to them to check my watch, and he's like, do you really need to be checking it right now? Like, is it that important? Like, it makes me feel like I'm not important.
Yeah.
And it's whatever is on here is taking your attention. And it's like, oh, I didn't. And I noticed yesterday we had people over for our life group, and how many people, including myself, because my phone or my watch kept buzzing, that so many people, it's a constant. And when people do this, it makes you think you're not engaged here. You're not about this is more important than that. So I like the 3 T's to be able to talk and touch and to have those thought-provoking, like ask questions.
Yes. So I love that because I think we can all relate to that, either being on the side where we're checking our stuff or the other side where we're trying to be engaged and they're not quite engaged with you. And it does, you feel that it's not engaging, and then you kind of just don't say what you were going to say and you make it shorter, which is it's such a bummer, right? So if you can engage with your partner, and I do want to say, like, this doesn't have to be all day. Like, I understand we got stuff to do. We're moms and wives and husbands and all these things. This list is just to help you kind of look at it and be like, oh, this is something I could definitely do better at, and just start doing it small. Like, don't try to make it huge.
Yeah.
So just a reminder there. Okay, we got 4 more. Okay, 11. Bring back the just because gifts. Do you remember these when you were dating or in your early years of marriage? Like Cameron would bring me a treat, my favorite treat or my favorite drink, which is Pepsi, and he would just bring it just because, and sometimes on the flip side, I feel like husbands give gifts when they're in trouble and or if they want something, and just bring back the just because. I was just thinking about you today, so thankful for you, or you're just so pretty here, these flowers reminded me of you, and bring them,
I
so
love
just
that.
just do those just because gifts for each
Yeah.
other. Okay, this one's hard for me. 12 is hard for me, and it's play and be silly together. I am not great at being silly. I'm more of a serious person. I like to have fun, but that childlike silliness that you can do with your spouse, and it's taken me a while to get there. Cameron's so great at it, and it's great for me because it brings fun for me, but I don't fully participate. I don't know. I'm just so guarded with that kind of stuff. But when I do let myself go, he has even told me, he's like, it's so fun to see you have fun. And that's I think that can go with all spouses. I think they truly want you to be happy, especially with them. They want you to have this journey with them and enjoy it. And so if you can just kind of let your hair down, I know we're all stressed out. It's a crazy life we live. But if you can just let it go for a second and be silly with your partner, laughter is such a great connector as well in your marriage. So if you can do that, work on that. I know I do. I need to work on it.
I mean, that one is, I think, one of my favorite ones that you said, just because I think we do take our job so serious, take our marriage, we take life so serious, try to do all the things, get it all right. And it's just when you can do this, like you both win and your children win too, right? The whole family.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
they're seeing you enjoy the family that you have been blessed with, enjoy the marriage you've been blessed with. And it is, the Bible says laughter is medicine for the soul. Like it really is healing for you.
Well, and how great is it to think if your kids are watching you, have fun together and be silly, they kind of look at adulthood like it can still be fun. And sometimes I think we take out the fun in adulthood, and I would really love to let my kids know that adulthood can be fun, and we need to show them that it can be fun and just silly sometimes. We don't need to be so serious. So
Yeah.
I love what you said. That's great. Okay, 13. This one is going to seem a little bit contrary, but it's give each other alone time. And the reason I put this one in there is because when you can feel fulfilled outside of each other, of your job, of all the stresses we've been talking about, when you come back to your partner, you feel so replenished. You feel so ready to give love, ready to just conquer the world, And I don't know if you've experienced that. I hope everybody has experienced like enjoying their hobby for an hour and being able to come back and be like, oh God, I just feel so much better. I feel like I got my creativity going and had a little moment to myself where I can come back and return replenished. And I think that it goes a long way again in your marriage if you can come back and feel better about yourself.
Yeah. That is a good one. It's sort of with the same mindset of like with Sabbath, how they say, take a pause from, we just did an episode on that, and it's like you're taking a pause from the work, and it actually makes you want to return back to it. Whereas when you don't ever take that break from it. So I could see that with your marriage too, and giving the approval and the okay, because a lot of times as wives, we want to guilt trip our spouses into any time they want to have alone because they're already gone from us most of the time. So to be able to give them the green light to actually go and have that time for themselves, whatever that looks like. So
yes. Like Cameron's going ice fishing this weekend, and am I gearing myself up to be a single parent this weekend? Yes, I am. And it's going to be tough just because it is. Like we got 3 boys. It's crazy all the time. And he definitely helps me, calm things down when it gets crazy. And then when he's gone, it's hard, but I do know it's important because he does the same for me when I go out and do stuff, and we just come back better and ready to rock and roll. So I just love it.
Yeah. Well, I just actually gifted, now that you said that, I gifted Randall that for Christmas. His was 3 days away in a cabin by himself. He's mentioned it several times. He wishes he could start the year off with some just like quiet time to really reflect on the past year and what his goals and just what is, you know, what's coming this next year. And so he leaves tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to just hearing how it goes, him
That's
by himself
awesome.
in a cabin. So,
Yeah, I love that. When you're saying that, for me, sometimes I get jealous, like, you don't want to spend all your time with me. Like, I need attention, and I know that about myself. So I've really had to work on like, okay, it's okay. He needs to go do his thing. I need to go do my thing. And if you can just trust it, he will come back, you will come back feeling better. And typically you look at your relationship in a much better open mind, like just a better perspective, and it helps.
yeah, that's a good one.
So
all right, number 14.
Here we go. Number 14 is, don't ever forget to be their biggest fan. Get psyched when they get psyched. Like, again, with this ice fishing trip, guys, I am not an ice fisher. I'm not, like, I don't even like to touch fish. Okay. But he has been like a giddy little boy about all of his gear, about all of like his sleeping bag and all these things. And so I've been trying to like match his energy, like, oh, that's so cool. Like, what do you do with this lure? And what do you do with this one, you know? And just be excited if they're excited, and just do that, and be supportive. And I had to learn that one the hard way. Talking about hobbies, for a long time, Cameron would tell me, I just feel like you don't support me. And it hurt me because I was like, why? Like, I feel like I do support you. And I really had to take a step back and look at his perspective. And I was never, or, you know, not never, but I wasn't excited back then when he wanted to do something that really fulfilled him, like going out and doing ice fishing. He loves it. And I just didn't ever match that. And it made him feel, he told me that it made him feel like guilty for leaving, or like it wasn't, he wasn't worth the time to go do that, or he didn't have as much fun knowing that I was upset. He would have had way more fun knowing that I was excited for him too, and that he could go and do that. And so I've been working on that for the past few years, and it's just been so great to see the difference it's made in his fulfillment and in what he does, and vice versa. So just support him, be their biggest fan, cheer for them in their corner, and remember that you guys are best friends.
Yes. Oh man, Jamie, you did such a good job of giving us these 14 different ways of connecting, because I love that these are not things that are going to cost you a lot of money. I mean, I think there was one, maybe two, that involved something that you were purchasing, but for the most part, it's just going to take a little bit of your time. It's not even going to take a lot of your time. Some of it's just even shifting your mindset on stuff, the words that you're speaking to them, and then how you're engaging with them. So anyone that's listening right now that's gearing up for February, our month of love, and just the excitement that comes along with that, these are 14 ideas leading up to that, but these are also 14 ideas for you to use anytime, all the time. Pick one, like Jamie was saying in the beginning. You know, of course, if you try to do all 14 of these every day, you would drive yourself insane. Pick something you want to improve on, or pick something that's small that you could start out with. Pick one a day, and like, okay, how can I do this today? And there you have 14 days worth of connecting with your spouse. So whatever that looks like for you, when you start to do these things, you're going to see a little shift in your relationship, because your spouse is going to feel valued. They're going to feel like you noticed, and they're going to feel seen, like she was saying. And that's going to change everything. Even if you don't feel like you should be the one that has to initiate this, because you think, oh, you know, I'm always the one doing it. do it anyways. Do you want to have a successful marriage? Yes.
And it's work. I get it. I know exactly what you're saying. It's work.
Yes.
What
But it's
makes it
fun
good.
work too.
I was gonna say that's what makes it good, because you
Yeah.
put the work in.
Yes,
You've
that's what
made
Randall
it.
says all the time. Like, if this is work for us, I mean, how we could be doing like mopping a floor. That's work and it sucks.
Yes.
This is work and you reap benefits from it and you get to enjoy it at the same time. It
Yes.
is your spouse. They are your best friend and you get to remember that. So I'm just excited to hear from you guys. If you do any of these things and you want to share it with us on your social media, tagging Make It a Date, tag us at Enjoying Your Blended Family. If you are just hearing about Jamee for the first time, go follow her on Make It a Date on Instagram, send her a DM, ask her a question. On Friday nights, she has these like Friday night dates. Will you tell them a little bit about that if somebody
Yeah.
wants to send something in?
Yeah, for sure. I call them Friday date matchups.
Yes.
Where I'll have a little text box on my Instagram stories and you just send me your date idea and or location where you're doing it, if it's at home or if it's at a city or a restaurant. And I will match it with something. I'll give you a suggestion, either a game to go with it, some connecting questions, some conversation starters, a playlist sometimes I'll add in there that you can listen to, or like a get to know you quiz. Those are always fun. Just something fun to add to your day and hopefully enhance it for you and make it a little bit better.
Yeah. And then will you tell them, because I just joined, I need to go. I was looking at your story and I totally missed that I could get the book from you and get added bonuses in it. Will you tell them about your Not Book Club book club?
Yeah, my Not Book. Love it. Yes. Okay. I have been dying to read Jay Shetty's 8 Rules of Love, How to Find It, Keep It, and Let It Go. So I figured other people might want to read it with me, and it's been great. We've had a lot of people who do want to read it with me, and I'm very excited. So this is a book we're reading for the love month of February, and it just focuses a lot on loving yourself, loving your spouse, and how to let things go, and just make your relationships better. It doesn't even have to be a marital relationship. It can be any relationship. And we're looking forward to that. We're starting February 1st. I think we're going to go till March 2nd and then meet together virtually to talk about it. But, I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah.
And this episode comes out February 4th, so it won't be too late if you get the book then.
Yeah.
And get started in it, and then join us in March for the virtual book club talk. So you don't have to be in the same town or anything. So I'm looking forward. I love book clubs. We've actually done an episode on doing book clubs with different like family members that don't live in the same house as you, as a way of connecting. So this is something you could have your spouse or your stepchild or somebody to join you in doing it as well, or you joining us, or just do it for you. This can be your thing as well. Just anytime you can put new information in like that. And Jay Shetty, I just love watching his stuff. He has such insight, ways of just speaking to you and breaking it down like, oh, duh, I should have known that. So Enjoying Your Blended Family. I hope you have enjoyed this and you are taking away 14 very practical steps, ways to connect with your spouse. Thank you, Jamee, so much for sharing those with us. And in the meantime, while you're getting geared up to get this going, go check out Jamee. She has an Etsy shop as well. So you can find that link when you go to her Instagram, and there's connection cards already on there. I've purchased the different ones on there. I love them. There's like a road trip game that you can get that we've used before as well. And they're all just things that are going to help you connect with your spouse. So you're not doing this alone. We're all struggling and we're all trying to do our best and have the best marriage that we can. And so we just do little things like this to keep it hot and spicy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
All right. So bye, guys. And until next time, remember to enjoy your blended family.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
And when you join, we also want to give you a free gift. So go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day. Remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.